I can only imagine how it is to be with you. From the first day I saw your face, I knew this love was true.
Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Crystal and this is Crazy Little Book Page, where we talk about books and the pages in them. And boy do I have a life update for you. So, I have been away from my channel for quite some time because I had some life changes that I went through. So I have separated from my husband and we are about to get a divorce. I only just started reading again in March because I had some mental health issues going on after that whole separation. My ex-husband was very controlling, so I didn't get a lot of time at the very end of our marriage to do things that I enjoy because he would always yell at me for it. So now that I've kind of sorted through that, anybody who's ever been through a breakup knows, probably even if it was toxic, how mentally challenging that can be sometimes. So I had to go through a grief process in order to do that. And after my separation, I was doing some fertility treatments to be a surrogate, which unfortunately never worked out. Like, I had 2 embryo transfers, but unfortunately they didn't take, and I had to go to Vancouver to do those. So I'd been traveling a lot too, so I didn't really have a lot of time to read and do the things that I enjoy while doing these other life things. But I have a little bit of an update for you, a little bit of a book haul for what I've got in March and April. A couple of the books that I've read are also a haul. That's not true, only one of them is a haul. The other 2 are ARC, and I want to talk about some books that I am reading currently and just all the things to get us caught up. So let's start with the books that I have read in March and April so far and go from there. I'm going to go in order of books that I've finished for the year. And I'm behind on my reading challenge because I just started in March. So the first thing I've read this year was a book called Rules for Being a Girl, which is a book that follows a girl named Marin who is sexually assaulted, or like he makes sexual advances at her by one of her teachers, who then, after she tells on him, tries to ruin her life because she tried to ruin his. All in all, I rated this book at 5 stars because it is a topic that needs to be talked about, and it is something that is at the forefront for a lot of women with the Me Too movement and the fact that most girls experience sexual harassment before they are even in middle school. So this is a book that I would highly recommend for anyone to read, boys, girls, men, women. I found it very intriguing. Even though it's a YA novel, it is a very important read and I would recommend it to everyone. The next book I read was a book called, and that came out April of 2020, so it just came out this month. I did read it in March, so this one came out in January of 2020. It is called Just Breathe, and it follows a girl named Jamie and a boy named David. And Jamie meets David when he is admitted to the hospital for a lung infection. He has cystic fibrosis, and he convinces Jamie to do a lot of not so great things. I really loved this book. I really enjoyed this book. Again, this was a 5-star read for me. I will warn you, I do have 1 DNF in this list. This was a 5-star read for me. Jamie and David's relationship, friendship, whatever you want to call it, the way it develops is so realistic, and I really, really enjoyed this. I cannot say enough good things about this. Jamie is a girl who has lost her father to suicide, so trigger warnings for that, and loss of a parent, but they help each other get through their grief and their secrets, and literally they become best friends and tell each other everything that they don't tell the rest of their friends. So this was a great book as well. The next book that I read this in March was A Court of Thorns and Roses, which I had started last year, but I restarted it in March, and I really hate it. I'm probably of the base that is against Farrah, but I really did not like Farrah's character in this. In fact, I only rated this book, I think, 3 stars. Oh, I rated it 2 stars because Farrah was very annoying to me. But this follows a girl named Farrah who kills what she believes is a wolf in the woods, but it turns out is a fairy. So this fairy named Tamlin comes to redeem that wolf and take her for the a treaty, like as an eye for an eye, in a treaty that is signed between the fairy world and the mortal world. And this is actually a Beauty and the Beast retelling, which was, I loved Tamlin's character and it was very interesting. And don't get me wrong, Farrah does develop as a character and she's not so annoying and stupid come the end of the book, but I did not really enjoy the first book. However, I've heard the second book in the series gets better, so I do plan to follow up in this series and finish it because I have heard the next books get better and better. So I also read that in March. So the first book I read in April was the second in the Grishaverse series, the Genstorm, and this follows Alina on her path to defeat the Darkling. And because it is a second book in the series, I'm not going to go too much into it, but we find out a lot more about the Darkling in this book than we did in the Shadow and Bone. Oh, I lied. This was the second book I read in April. Shadow and Bone series. So I really enjoyed this. I gave it 5 stars. I am really enjoying the Siege and Storm series. Oh, and to mention, I'm gonna go off on a little bit of a tangent right now. I did shave my hair, yes. I look a little different than my profile picture on YouTube and Instagram, and I shaved my hair mainly because I was getting very, very hot and I was getting a lot of migraines, which I experience normally, and my hair was very, very heavy. See, I have very curly, thick hair, and it was just getting way too much, so I wanted to shave it just to give it a reset and give my head a break from the heaviness of my hair. So that is why I have a shaved head. Sorry if you don't like it. I do. I don't really give 2 craps or 2 hoots what anybody else thinks. So on to the next book. This was actually the first book that I read in April, and I actually hauled this book in January or February, and it is Highway of Tears, a true story of racism, indifference, and the pursuit of justice for missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls. This was such a powerful memoir and story about all the missing and murdered Indigenous women that have gone missing on what we call the Highway of Tears, and which runs from Prince Rupert to Prince George in British Columbia, Canada. And my God, was it powerful. This is a 5-star read, and everybody, literally everyone, should read this book. 5 out of 5 would highly recommend. So with that, I also read What Alice Forgot. That was a DNF, 0 stars. Hated that book. It's by Leanne Moriarty. I should have known better than to buy this book because I do not like Leanne Moriarty's writing. It's very not my style. I really don't like her as a writer. I know I am on the unpopular opinion on that. I don't really care. Don't come at me. I'm allowed to like what I want. And then the next book that I read was The Never-Ending Present. It is a biography about Gord Downie, who was the leader of the Tragically Hip, and his band, the Tragically Hip. I gave that 5 out of 5 stars. It made me cry in places. It took me a very long time to actually read it because I'm still not over Gord Downie and his death, and I just like, it gave me all the feels. But I felt like it was time because he has been dead for going on 3 years now. So that was a book that I read in April as well. Now let's go to books I've hauled, and then we'll go to currently readings. So this month I have hauled the entire, well, not the entire series, but the first 3 books in the Mistborn series. So this one is by Brandon Sanderson. This is The Final Empire. This is the first book in the Mistborn series. And then it goes to The Well of Ascension and Hero of Ages. So I have the first 3 books of the Mistborn trilogy, which I picked up on Amazon earlier this month because I was looking for a new fantasy series to read. I've heard that Brandon Sanderson is a really great writer, and I also heard that if you liked Lord of the Rings, you should pick up this series first, and I look forward to reading them. I also picked up She Cherishes' new book, Voodoo Shanghai, which I'm very excited to read. I'm also about 71 pages into it, so about 16% of the way into it. I'm thoroughly enjoying this book. I love Christy Cherish's writing. I love this series. Cannot wait to read Owl and the Japanese Lantern, I believe it's called. So that I'm looking forward to. I also have picked up a few other books. Not Afraid, The Evolution of Eminem by Anthony Bozza. I'm a huge Eminem fan, so when I saw this in Walmart, I just had to pick it up. I also got Darling Rose Gold, 40% off the cover price. This is a book that follows Rose Gold Watts, whose mother is a person who suffers from Munchausen by proxy and who went to jail, and then she has to navigate her relationship after her mom has been released from jail. So, and then I picked up a biography by James Patterson and Cynthia Fagan called The House of Kennedys, which is about the Kennedy family, Robert and JFK and their empire. I also hauled that 0-star book, What Alice Forgot. So let's get into my currently reading. Oh, I also received from, I'm also in a new relationship with a man that I have been friends with over half of my life. I've liked him since I was 15 years old. He is amazing. You may or may not meet him in one of my videos. We will see. I'll have to figure out if he'll, come on video, but he bought me a new e-reader because I was having trouble with the battery on my HD7. I needed a new e-reader that I could read comfortably on, so he got me the 10, and look at this thing, it is bigger than my head. So let's just go with that. So my current reads are, the first one I am reading is called The Southern Book Club's Guide to Slaying Vampires by Grady Hendrix. He also wrote My Best Friend's Exorcism. This book is so funny. I cannot wait to come on my channel and talk about it after. So this book follows Patricia, who is involved in a not-so-book club, and yeah, I don't really know much about it because I don't really like to know the synopsis about my books, really. The next book I am reading is A Court of Mist and Fury, so number 2 in the Kotar series. Of course, I am also currently reading Voodoo Shanghai by Christy Cherish. I'm also reading That Big Boy Priory of the Orange Tree, or I'm trying to. I haven't really read much in it, but I am trying. I'm also reading a book called Meltdowns on Moscato by J.C. Wheeler, which is about a group of moms who join unofficial parent group whose kids are all autistic or on the autism spectrum. So I'm reading those books right now. Currently, that's all I got really for you today. I hope you enjoyed this video. I will be back making videos at some point, like more often now. I cannot wait to be back on this channel. I have missed you all, and I really, really hope you liked this video. If you did, click the like button down below. If you are not subscribed to my channel, please do so and hit the notification bell if you enjoyed this video so that you can receive more of my content. I would love to hear what you guys would like to see on this channel upcoming. So let me know, and I will see you next time. Bye!
Only imagine how it is to be with you. I can only imagine us both loving through the night. I can only imagine us together side by side.